Matt Cardona, welcome to Straight to Hell. How the hell are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm usually a very positive person. I don't know if I'm going to like the subject matter here, but let's go. Let's try it out.
I thought it'd be quite easy after recent happenings, with sort of Sean Waltman and other people like that.
They're trying to rain on my parade, trying to ruin everything I've built, but it's all good.
Most important question first and foremost, of course, though. How the hell are Dude and Walter doing?
They're doing great. They're not going to hell. They're going to heaven. All dogs go to heaven, but they're not even close to dead. They're like 1 and 2.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
I would never suggest they're going to go to hell. They should be in heaven. Just wondering how they're doing.
No, they're doing good.
And I've got to put Chelsea. I had Chelsea on the show last year, and I just wanted to put what she said down to hell to you to see if you agree or disagree with what she put down to hell.
Okay, let's hear it.
Twitter, because of all the negative people and stands.
I'll kind of touch on that in my list.
Spray tans, because she hates having to get them. She smell the smell of the fake tan and get on.
I absolutely love them. So I disagree with that.
The division between companies should work together more with talent and whatnot.
I agree with that.
Underexposure of talent outside of America, how hard it is to get sort of booked on shows in America.
I mean, I could agree with that, sure.
And the word debut.
I agree with that.
Oh, fair enough. Just so we get a sort of feel of where you're coming from with the things you sent to hell, what is it you, above all else, that you love about professional wrestling?
Man, that's a loaded question, right? What do I love about pro wrestling? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I love about pro wrestling. I don't know why I love pro wrestling. I don't know why, as a little kid, I was drawn to it. I don't know why I never grew out of it. I don't know why I chose this as my profession. It's everything. It's the storylines, the action, the colorful outfits, the entrance music, the action figures, the merchandise, the video games. It's everything combined. It's the fact that, you see a movie, you go see Batman, right? Okay. He's not really Batman, right? You see Matt Cardona in the ring. I'm really me. I'm really me. You know what I'm saying? And then there's my action figure. There's my merch. And then you can watch me evolve and grow over the years, and not just for me, for any one of your favorite superstars or wrestlers. So there's just so much about it that I love. I love the fan interaction. I also hate the fan interaction. It really depends on, what we're talking about. But yeah, I love this business 100%.
Lovely answer. So if I was to ask you for your first thing to send down straight to hell, what would that first thing be?
Negative trolls on the internet. Now, listen, I am all for different opinions. I am all for constructive criticism. But to be a fucking asshole, just to be a fucking asshole, that needs to go. The fact that some of these people, would never say this to your face, that hide behind these keyboards. And I get it. It's so easy. If I was a kid, and if there was Twitter when I was a kid, and I wanted to tweet the IRS or $1 Million Man, say, you suck, I could do it, right? But it's more than just the you suck. If someone doesn't like me as a wrestling character, I'm fine with it. I actually enjoy that. I love that. But when people get a little too deep, a little too personal, and are just negative for the sake of being negative, that can go to hell. And those people can go to hell.
I imagine you get this more than most professional wrestlers going today, just because of who you are and what you're doing in the world today.
And listen, it comes with the territory. And I'm not saying I don't. Listen, sometimes some of these tweets pop me. I don't like them. I'll read too. I think they're funny. You can tell when someone, is in on the act. And then there's people who are malicious and hurtful. That needs to end. And because, it's not just, I can handle it. I know what I signed up for getting in this business, but other fans attacking each other, that's definitely got to go. Mm-hmm. These fans didn't sign up for this, didn't sign up for the negativity, the bullying, all that BS. They didn't sign up for that. I did. I can handle it. And if something gets under my skin every once in a while, I can only imagine if a normal civilian gets these things sent to them. You know what I'm saying? So that needs to go.
So if someone's watching this video and thinking, oh, I don't like what I've seen Matt Cardona do, I'm going to send him a tweet. Where is the line for you if that's a question you can't answer? It's obvious for someone like me, but like if someone's watching thinking, oh, I want to have a go at Matt, where's the line?
I don't know what the line would be. I think it's all, you know, how can I put this? It's all depends on the circumstance, depends on the tweet, depends on the word, depends on the tone, the context. There are definitely some that cross the line for sure. And then some that I'm like, oh, that's funny. Yeah. You can tell when someone's just busting your balls and when someone's being a malicious asshole.
Yeah. And when it comes to fans as well, is this sort of boiling down to the sort of tribalism thing? If you like AEW, for example, WWE fans coming for them saying, oh, you're wrong for liking that thing. Let's have a fight on social media.
That's so stupid. I never understood that. I mean, when I was a kid, I had the TV where I could watch Raw and Nitro at the same time. You could watch it all, baby. You don't have to choose. It's stupid.
Yeah. And I've just mentioned of AEW. His name has cropped up in my head. Obviously, you know him well, Cody. I've got to ask, is there a latest on that from your perspective, being sort of in his inner circle, if you will?
I don't know if I'm in his inner circle. I do have a Nightmare Family jacket, though. I love Cody. I'm very proud of Cody for what he did years ago when he walked away from WWE. He changed the business. He really did. And a lot of the things that I'm doing now, I kind of, you know, I used his blueprint. I did it my own way. Obviously, I didn't follow every step that he took, but he knows what he's doing. He's a businessman, and he loves pro wrestling as much as anybody, if not more. He has it in his blood, and he's gonna do great things wherever he ends up.
And obviously, you don't have to answer this, but if you were a betting man, what would you say? Where's he going to end up?
On television.
In America? In Japan? Where?
Maybe everywhere. Who knows?
And just to touch on NWA, you see obviously the title behind you there. Are you going to be a traveling world champion? Because I like the sounds of Matt Cardona traveling world champion.
Listen, I say this all the time. If a promoter wants to book me and pad my lope, pay my full rate, fly me there, I'll wrestle anywhere and anyone. I don't care. I'm not going to do any brother rates, though. I'm not going to lower my price. And international, I'll tell you what, my rates go up.
Fair enough, as they probably should do with the travel you got to go, the distance you got to go.
That's right.
And obviously you got the match coming up with Nick Aldis. What's the sort of, has anything sort of changed? Obviously we've seen the match announced. Jeff Jarrett's being added to the thing. Thoughts on that? I guess they're out there already, but any sort of developments on Jeff Jarrett getting added there?
Listen, I don't know the deal with this. It's just I told Billy Corgan that I needed a special referee. I needed somebody that I could trust. I don't know if I could trust Double J. Right now in my office, you can't see it. I have a guitar that is a big hole through the middle where my head was. That Double J smashed over my head. He signed it and mailed it to me. That son of a bitch.
That's like,
so I don't know if I could trust Double J. Double J used to run TNA. All this wasn't TNA. Is there collusion going on? I don't know. We'll find out at the Crocker Cup.
We definitely will. That takes place on the weekend of March 19th and 20th, just in case people watching want to check that out. Anyway, if I was to ask you for your second offering to go down to hell, what would it be?
This one's going to take a second to explain. It's called fig swapping. Okay. This is what it is. It's like, let's say you, right? You go to the store and you buy the new Ultimate Kane figure and you take it home and you put an old ass Kane figure, maybe somebody else in there, and you return it. And then it's put on the shelves. And then like some parent walks in and buys it for their kid, not knowing, and ruins some kid's day or birthday or Christmas because some cheap son of a bitch didn't want to spend the $20 or $30. It's bullshit. It sucks. It's called fig swapping. It's an epidemic in the wrestling figure world. I hate it. It makes me sick. You know, people steal accessories and they return it, or it's just horrible. Don't be a cheap. If you can't afford to buy a figure, don't buy it.
Does this ever happen in store? I imagine some people might try to swindle a package in store as well.
No, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
This happens because, because now these packages are so easy to open and reseal that they're either doing it in the actual store or they're buying it, swapping the figure out, swapping the accessory out, and returning it. The customer service guy doesn't know, who Seth Rollins is compared to Ricochet, for example. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He just takes it back, puts it on the shelf. And then what if some poor kid gets this for his birthday because the parent thinks they're buying him something nice? Is fucking swapped out figure. It's bullshit.
So this is a call to action from yourself for wrestling figure companies to improve the packaging. Use that horrible plastic stuff you have to take with scissors.
I don't know what they make it way too easy. It's unbelievable. Like back in the day, if you were to like rip off a bubble from a card for a figure and you like resealed it, it'd be so obvious, right? But now it's just like Scotch tape holds these figures together. You slice it with a knife and reseal it, nobody would know. They got to improve that.
Big time. It must be devastating if you are one of the people on the wrong end of fig swapping. So that can go down to hell to rot for the rest of the time.
I agree.
Sure. Matt, your third offering, please.
Oh, this one is what I like to call the gimmick table lingerer. You know, as an independent wrestler, we make a big chunk of our living selling gimmicks, photo ops at the, before the shows, intermission, maybe after the shows. There's nothing worse than someone coming up and just talking your ear off and not buying anything. What the fuck? This is not like chit chat. There's clearly items on the table to purchase. There's clearly people looking. It happened to me the other day. Someone was just talking my ear off. I saw there was someone waiting behind them, and then they left because they didn't want to be bothered anymore. This guy cost me like $50.
Yeah.
Gimmick table lingerers, they gotta fucking go.
So what's the etiquette for a Matt Cardona gimmick table? Is it line, money out, pay, get your own way?
No, I have no problem chit-chatting if you're going to buy something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have no problem with a fist pound. Hey, if you're not, don't sit there and tell me your life story or worse, my life story, and then not buy anything. I know what I did, right? If you're not going to buy the 8x10 of me holding up the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, I don't need to hear where you were when you watched it. If you're buying it, we're taking a picture. Sure. Tell me. I love it. If you're not going to buy it, get the away.
This isn't the first time I've heard this complaint from many professional wrestlers, so I assume it just happens every single weekend.
It's so fucking annoying, dude. It's the worst. It's the worst.
I can imagine it from your perspective as well, so that can go firmly down to hell. Before we go into your fourth pick, GCW, where's that going? Because that seems to be just going up and up and up as the months go by.
I would never send that to hell. Maybe Brett Lauderdale could go to hell, but that cheap. But I love GCW. GCW loves me, whether they want to admit it or not. Man, one day I think I'm going to be the Vince McMahon of GCW. I might buy the whole goddamn company.
I'm sure people would love that.
Oh, absolutely.
I've got to be honest with you, just over here in the UK, my sort of my knowledge of GCW has just gone through the roof since you've got involved in the big matches you've been having.
Duh.
Did you expect to be having this sort of effect when you joined?
I was supposed to be there for 3 shows. That was it. And then I think we both, and by we, I mean me and GCW, both realized there is fucking money here. We were onto something here. Let's ride this wave out. There's no contract. It's a handshake deal, if you will. We've had a couple bumps on the road, but we're still going. I love GCW. I think it's incredible. I think what they've done just since I got there has been great. I think they just needed the extra exposure, and I think I helped with that. I think a lot of people tuned in to see me get carved up and get my ass kicked. They sat through the show and said, wow, it's pretty good. Let me watch another one. Because it's not just deathmatch wrestling. In fact, I would say less than 25% of GCW is deathmatch wrestling. Kind of the same stigma ECW got. If you actually watch ECW, the match with the RVD, Jerry Lynn, that wasn't hardcore wrestling. That was great stuff. So some of the best talent in the world is in GCW right now. So I think the fans are starting to finally notice. And I'm glad for everybody, because if we can sell at the Hammerstein Ballroom with no matches announced, I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah, big time. You got the match, obviously, against Chris Dickinson at Joey Janela's Spring Break. Obviously,
Little Dickinson.
I'm not going to say that. That is firmly your words and your words only.
Oh, okay. Chris Little Dickinson. I'll say it again.
What are we expecting from that one, then?
To beat him.
Is that it?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm a busy man. That's WrestleMania week. I have an autograph sign at WrestleCon that day. I have an Impact Wrestling show that night, and then I go right to wrestle Chris Little Dickinson, and then I have WrestleCon signing in the morning. So it's got to be short and sweet. I think I'm gonna have to squash him.
Big time. I've just found myself there with the NWA Championship and sort of the ties with Ring of Honor in the past. What's your thought on the entire thing that's happened to Ring of Honor this week? That's just coming to mind there.
I mean, I thought Ring of Honor was dead. So it's now that it's back with Tony Khan leading the charge. I think it's great. There's no denying Tony loves his business. I think he will do the right thing for the product, not just the current product, but the old library. It won't sit and rot somewhere. As CM Punk said, it's not just going to be on some network, where it's just an extra, tab. So that library is going to be cherished. And I think that's great. As for what the new direction is, I don't know. And like I said earlier, I'll go anywhere as long as I get that fat envelope of cash.
What's your fourth offering to go down to hell?
I would say it's the early morning airport fans, and I use fans in quotes. Listen, I can tell if you're a real fan or if you're shoving all these 8x10s or cards in my face. I know the difference. Get the out of here. Seriously, stop. If you're a genuine fan, cool. Take the picture, sign your autograph, whatever. Listen, even if you're not, even if you want to make a couple bucks, I'll sign 8x10 or a card. Ask nicely. Don't just shove it in my face or anyone else's face. And don't have a fucking stack, right? Don't have like 10 cards lined. No, get out of here. It's not my job for you to make money.
Yeah.
If you're a fan, I'll do it. No problem. And yes, like if you're going to sell it, I'll do one or two. Never, ever come to me with like 10 cards, like a book of fucking cards or a stack of 8x10s, and they get mad when I won't do it all. Get the fuck out of here.
How much does that happen? Because I'm thinking about that concept of staying outside of a hotel, waiting for you to get up in the morning, being at the airport, waiting for your flight to get in.
Happens every week.
No shame, is there?
Every week. Listen, I was the biggest wrestling fan in the world growing up. I never even thought, you know what? I should look up what flight they're on and go to the airport. I mean, more credit to them, I guess. But sometimes it's just ridiculous where they have like stacks of action figures and stuff. Like, stop. And then like they're getting mad when we're getting annoyed. Come on.
You can see why you're getting annoyed though. What is their retort when you're saying, "No, that's one too many. I can see what you're doing here."
Now people, they get real fired up and they talk back to you. They're so disrespectful. And on the flip side, sometimes there are very respectful fans who just want a picture, just want an autograph. And I love that. That's cool. And even listen, if you're going to make a couple bucks, that's cool too. As long as you're respectful, you ask nicely, you say please and thank you. It's not really that hard. If you're shoving things in people's face, that's a different issue. You don't say please, you don't say thank you. Come on.
Especially after you just got off a big flight as well. The last thing you want to do is sort of hang around.
Or even worse, it's the morning and you're trying to make a flight and you're getting held up by these people.
That doesn't matter, though. Makes you play, who cares? Right, then, so they can go down firmly to hell. I'm full agreement with you there. What's your fifth and final offering, please?
This one's probably going to get me some heat if any gear makers are listening to this. Unreliable gear makers. Listen, I've been wrestling for 19 years. I've worked for every major company there is. Find me one fucking reliable 100% gear maker. That's all I'm asking. Because guess what? It doesn't exist. They spread themselves way too thin. They take on way too many projects. And how come, for instance, listen, I have some great people right now that I use. So I'm not going to shit on them because they're great. But they're all guilty of this. If I give someone a design now, right? Let's say, what is it now? Middle of March. And I say I need this for a pay-per-view in May, right? You would think, oh, maybe I'll start designing it and working on it now. No, they wait like 2 days before that fucking pay-per-view in May. You know what I'm saying? They rush it. They're stressed. I'm stressed. I know you can do it in 2 days because you wait 2 days. You wait till 2 days before to actually make it. So imagine if you took the whole 3 months to make it. You could like just do a little here, a little there. Stress-free life for everybody. But no. I would say there's at least 5 gear makers in the world out there who owe me money or gear, but it is what it is. I get it, because the problem is once someone gets popular for making gear, then everyone goes to them and then they get backed up because it's not it's not an easy job. It is very hard, especially with the gear I get. It's very intricate, very design heavy, detail heavy. I'm not just getting like black trunks like Austin. There's like sometimes there's splatter paint or rhinestones or bedazzles or whatever. So I get it. It's tough. It's a tough job for them. I get it because it's not easy. You can't like mass produce this thing. You're doing it by hand. And then you have, for instance, I use Global WrestleWear. I feel like every time I text Rick, I'm like, hey, Rick, where's my gear? He's like, I'm making Charlotte's robe. How many fucking robes can Charlotte Flair get? Jesus Christ. You know how many times my gear's been delayed because Charlotte Flair got a robe?
Maybe we should be shedding Charlotte.
It's all fun. It's all good fun. But that's the thing. It's like the more successful the gear maker gets, it's like you almost have to keep up with their success or else you get pushed to the back of the line. Luckily, I'm the Deathmatch King, Impact Wrestling Digital Media World Champion, NWA World Series Champion. So I'm kind of still up there. But hey, even if I was WWE World Champion, if Charlotte needs that robe, Charlotte's going to get that robe.
It's an interesting one you bring up because I said earlier, I had Chris Bay on last week, and he said he likes to mix up his designers. Like he goes with one, gets their style, goes to a different one, gets their style.
So that's what I do right now. I'm currently using 3.
All right.
Because these 3, I'm not saying they're unreliable, but it's not like 100% I'll get it on this day. Right. So I bounce around. And I say I'm always ready. I always have gear like in the bank, so to speak, because God forbid it's a big day, the big show, the gear is not there.
Yeah.
There's a WrestleMania. I think it's one of the ones in New Orleans. Maybe that's 34. Listen, I was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, so it wasn't an important match for me at all, right? But I was supposed to have this cool looking like warlord style little chest piece thing with chains, right? It's supposed to be like that black like metal plastic look. My guy Rick was working on it the night before. It ended up looking like a fucking Power Ranger chest piece. It was horrible, fucking horrible, but I had to wear it because I'm like, well, I got it made. I paid for it. Might as well wear it here and never again. But Jesus Christ.
How many times can you wear one set of gear before it starts to like fall apart and all that sort of stuff? How much are you getting for your money?
Well, there's a lot of times that it's a one and done for me. If it's like a special gear for a special show, it's a one and done. Other times, I'll wear it a bunch of times. And luckily now, you could sell the gear to the fans and you always kind of I'm not saying you're always going to make a lot of money, but you could definitely get your money back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, big time. And what is the process from you getting an idea in your head and thinking, I want that to be done, and then sort of that getting done by the designers and then brought back to you?
So I work with somebody called TTD Wrestling. He's actually from the UK. He works on the Major Wrestler podcast, and he is like my designer for everything. And we work together. I found him almost 3 years ago. So now, I'm very creative. I'm just not very artistic, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I know what I want in my head, but I can't draw it. I especially can't do it computerized. Right. So I explain what I want to TTD. He does it all fucking nice, mocks it up. And usually like he nails it. There's only like a couple tweaks that need to be made. And then he sends it to Rick Michaels, Global WrestleWear. And then he actually makes it into the gear. So it's a 3-step process, a 4-step. Like I think of it, I send it to TDD, he makes it, he sends it to Rick makes it, and then I wear it. Yeah. So,
and if you had to put a sort of ballpark figure on it, you don't have to obviously, because I asked Will Ospreay this question a couple of years ago, and his was over 10 grand for the year on gear. How much are you spent on gear?
Oh,
big time. Over.
100%. Because I'm addicted to gear. A couple years ago, a long time ago, I realized, especially in WWE, in this crazy fucking business, there are only 3 things that you can control. Your attitude, right? No one's going to say you are not allowed to be in a good mood. You're not allowed to be happy. You're not allowed to be positive, right? So you can control that. You can control your physique. No one's going to say, well, hey, you can't work out hard. You can't eat right, And then you can control your gear. You can control how good you look, how much gear you have, if you look like a star. So those are the only things you can really control in this business. So I love having new gear. I love it. I love looking fresh. I love coming up with new ideas. I love it. Especially like now being in the toy business, knowing, oh, well, I need to have different gear for different toys. But yeah, I have so much gear. I have gear that I don't even need. I just love gear. I love always wearing new stuff. Like guys like Macho Man, Warrior, Sting, always had new stuff, or it'd be on rotation so often that like, is that new? Well, he really wore it like a year and a half ago, but he hasn't worn it in a while, so like, I just love having new stuff.
Of course, more gear means more figures, doesn't it?
If you're like, hey, if you're a top guy in like AEW or Mattel, then yes, more gear means more figures. If you were like me in WWE, more gear did not mean more figures.
There we go then. Matt, I'm very conscious of your time. Very, very thankful for you joining us today. Anything you want to plug before I let you go on your day, on your way for your day?
Oh, man. I mean, listen, I hate to blow smoke up my own ass, but listen, if you follow me on social media, I have so much stuff to plug. NWA, Impact, Major Wrestling Podcast. I thank the fans for the support. It's been the best time of my career, the best time of my life. If you're not a fan, you. Listen, I love the hate. I love the love. I just love the fact that all these years, 19 years in the business, having the time of my life, and I think the fans are having the most fun too. If you're a Matt Cardona fan or a Zack Ryder fan, I think this is the best time, whether you're a new fan or an old fan, whether you love me or hate me. It's a wild ride. 2022 is just started. I mean, listen, we wrestled. I say we because I feel like my fans are along for this journey in this ride. 2022, we were at a Impact World Title main event, wrestled and sold out Harriside Ballroom, won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. It's only the beginning of the March, so I'm very excited for the rest of the year, and just keep watching.
And obviously, you're having the time of your life. Sorry, just one more before we go. Is there ever a chance you would go? I just heard Zack Ryder and thought, oh, is there a chance you'd ever go back to those days, back to WWE? Seems like you're having the time of your life.
Listen, if Vince McMahon called me or Bruce Pritchard or John Laurinaitis called me, of course I would pick up. Of course I would have a conversation. Of course. Why wouldn't I? I'd be lying right now if I said I never want to wrestle at Madison Square Garden again, or I never want to wrestle at WrestleMania again. I'd be lying if I said that. Anybody who says that's fucking lying, quite frankly, but I'm not doing what I'm doing now, hoping to get back. Yeah. I don't do what I do thinking, oh man, what do I have to do to get back to WWE? Or what do I have to do to get AEW to look at me? No, I'm doing me. If those opportunities present themselves, great. But the state of pro wrestling it's on fire right now. You don't need to be in those two companies. And that's nothing against either of them. Those are both obviously the best two companies in the world. But I'm trying to prove that you don't need it. Listen, you got to bust your ass. You got to work your ass off. You got to travel. You got to hustle. You got to be your own boss. You got to do interviews like this. You got to do the work.
Yeah. If
you think you're just going to sit back 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then just do some independence and think you're going to be a star and make money, you're not. Spoiler alert, you're not. This does not stop. This grind does not stop. This hustle does not stop. And I think that's why I've been so successful outside of WWE and AEW, because I have that work ethic. And, it's unfortunate to see a lot of guys who were released when I was released, and afterwards, where are they? It's unfortunate because I know they're talented. I know they're great athletes, great superstars, but they're expecting like these phone calls. It doesn't work that way. You got to go out and you got to bust your ass and create your own side thing. And listen, I'm not saying everyone has to go out and start a wrestling for your podcast, but find something you're passionate about. Start something else. Do something else. Get your name out there. Create your own buzz, because no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah, and you're certainly doing that, Matt. Thank you so much for your time today. Continue smashing it. Obviously, best wishes to Chelsea as well after what happened the other day.
Awesome.
It's unfortunate, of course. So that's it. I've been Ross Tweddell from Cultaholic Wrestling. That was Straight to Hell, and we'll see you next time.